So you're looking at moving to Southwest Florida area and you have little ones and trying to figure out what area you want to go into, knowing what school that you may be attending for your little ones is important and something to understand when looking to purchase a home. So stay tuned, we're going to go over all those different things. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Trisha Gatewood. I'm a local real estate agent here in Southwest Florida. If you'd like to learn more about Southwest Florida real estate, click subscribe and I'll let you know all about it. So you're looking at moving to Lee County and you have little ones and you want to make sure that you move into an area that fits your family, but also fits the schools that you want your children to go to. So by the end, you'll have more knowledge about the school system and how the public school system works. So it gives you more knowledge on where you may want to purchase your next home. So let's first start with private schools. There's about 49 private schools located throughout Lee County. They do kindergarten, middle and high. Some are middle and high, some are K-8. So just depending on the school and what they focus on. All private schools are ran independently. They have their own board, their own set of rules, and their own tuition. So speaking to each of those private schools that you are interested in would be your best bet for those, touring those schools. Sometimes location really doesn't matter. What really plays a role in is your commute. How much time you want to spend driving from home to school and then back from school to home. So that's something with the private school system. The next two, we have charter schools and our public school system. Those are public. Charter is a little bit different than the Lee County public schools. There's about 25 different charter schools located throughout Lee County. And again, they focus on different things. You have your elementary, middle, and high. There is no tuition to attend these charter schools. However, each charter school is ran on their own. They have their own governing board, their own set of rules, their own academic plan in place for each of the schools. I do know, like if you're looking at Oasis Charter, I believe you do need to live in Cape Coral to be part of attending that school. So looking at the schools, touring each charter school and asking what specific things you need to do if you want your child to go there. And they will be able to support you in that. The bigger one is our public school system, which is ran by Lee County Schools. We are a very large district. We have roughly 121 K-12 schools. So a really large district. So the district has split up into zones. And then within those zones, your child will be able to go to whatever schools are within that zone. So let's look at elementary, the elementary zone for our public school system. Now, this is changing. This is going to be new for the 23-24 school year. So everyone's going to be going into this new zone. So let's say you're looking at living in the south part of Cape, which is Zone F. All right, so if you live in that Zone F area, your elementary schools that you get to pick from would be Cape Coral, Pelican, and Goff Elementary. All right, so from those schools, those are ones you get to rank where you want your child to go. And then the district will decide where they are assigned by what they have availability for the students. So there are some different zones, so just depending on where you choose to purchase your home will depend on what zone you're in. Now let's move over to the elementary and middle school zone. This is what we've been in for many years. The middle school and the high school have not changed as of yet. I think they're slowly changing from elementary and they may move over into this for middle and high. But for the 23-24 school year, this is the zone that they're using for middle and high. And if you're looking, let's say the McGregor area, you're looking at purchasing a home off of McGregor, you're gonna be in what's called South Zone 1. All right, so the middle and high have 3 zones. You have your west, east, and south. And then within those, there are what's called subzones. There's 3 subzones in each zone. So for the McGregor Boulevard, you would be south and subzone 1. And the middle schools that are available in those areas would be Cypress Lake Middle, Dunbar, and Fort Myers Middle. Those are the 3 middle schools in that zone. And then if you're looking, let's say high school, we have a little one going into high, and let's say you're looking at moving out towards east, in the east area, and let's say your home is going to be in the east area, zone 2. So in those areas, you have the choice of Lehigh and Riverdale for your high schools. So there's definitely many more elementary schools, and then it kind of gets a little bit smaller with middle and high. There are a couple schools that are a K-8 school. That's gonna be your Norfolk Myers Academy of the Art, Alva, Veterans, and then of course Sanibel is also a K-8 school. If you're looking at purchasing on one of our islands, like Pine Island, Fort Myers Beach, or Sanibel, then your little ones would attend that Bear Island school. Right now, Fort Myers Beach is off the island due to the school having some issues after the hurricane, so they're rebuilding, looking at that school. But Sanibel and Pine Island are back up and running, and those students attend those schools. If there is not a school, like Pine Island only has elementary, so Pine Island will attend elementary school, and once they go to middle school, they'll come off the island for middle and high school. That's how that works. Now, let's talk about high school for just a minute. Your high schoolers all kind of specialize in something different. You have some that work the ACE program. You have others that are doing the Cambridge program. You have some that are doing the FGCU collegiate program. You have ones that are arts. They focus on all just the arts. You have some that focus on science and some that focus on the math area. So looking at what the different schools offer and what your high schooler would like to take in courses and maybe what they want to do when they graduate high school, some of those areas like Island Coast is a technical school. Mariner High School, they have a veterinarian program. I believe if you're looking at fire, your child wants to go into being a firefighter, that would be Ida Baker. So looking at the different schools for high school purposes is important for those kind of things. The last thing I like to point out is the art program. So we do have a couple art schools. We have a couple middle schools that are art and about 3 high schools that are art. And those high schools, they do have an audition period. So it's important that if you want to participate in like theater, those kind of things, that you make it to the audition. I don't know what they do once the audition period is over and you're moving in as a new student, but if you're in the county, I know you do have to audition at a particular time. So let's talk about that time frame. So now that we kind of gone over the zones and how the zone works, let's talk about application. So the Lee County School District does do what's called an open enrollment period, and that's usually February-ish. And it usually is open for a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and then they close their open enrollment. So what that means is they open it up for anyone in the district who is wanting to change schools for the next school year. You're looking at changing schools, and you have new ones coming in. Maybe you have an incoming kindergartner, an incoming 6th grader, an incoming 9th grader, and you're ready to pick, you need to pick schools for the following school year. They have what's called an open enrollment period. And you see what schools are available in where you live, and you rank your schools. So let's go back to elementary. You are in elementary, you live in zone F for elementary. You have Cape, Pelican, and Goff are your 3 choices. So let's say you make Cape choice 1, Pelican choice 2, Goff choice 3. All right, once the application period closes, they start processing all those applications and start assigning students to the schools based on how they ranked, how you rank them on your application. All right, so let's say they pull your application, Cape has an opening for a 2nd grader, and that's what you have, you'll get into Cape. All right, let's say you have your first choice is Cape, you have a 3rd grader, but there's no more openings for 3rd grade. Then they're going to go to your 2nd choice, which was Pelican, and they're going to look and see if there's a 3rd grade opening at Pelican. If there is a 3rd grade opening at Pelican, then you're going to get your 2nd choice, which is Pelican. All right, and then let's say you have a 4th grader coming in. There's no openings at Cape for a 4th grader. There are no openings at Pelican for a 4th grader. Your 3rd choice was golf, and there's a 4th grade opening for golf, your little one's gonna get golf, okay? So that's kind of how they kind of go through the system, is what I've been told. Now, if you have a siblings, they do try to keep siblings together. So they'll go through and see if you need a 1st grade opening and a 4th grade opening, they'll look for a school that has both those openings. If none of the schools have those openings, that's when they will split siblings. So they traditionally try to keep siblings together if they can. The school district can. If they can't, then they'll put them into different schools wherever they have openings for those kids. So that's kind of how that works. Another thing about the system, transportation is provided for your zone. So there's bus transportation provided for each zone. If you live 2 miles or less to the school, your transportation is not provided for 2 miles or less. Those students are considered walkers. So transportation is not provided for those students. The Lee County District does look at proximity. So if you are close to a school, you have a higher chance of getting your first choice, because you're closer to that school. Also siblings, they do sibling priority too. So if you have a 3rd grader that's going to be moving up to 4th grade the following year, then that incoming kindergartner would have a higher chance of getting into that school than an incoming kindergartner that has no siblings in that school. For the sibling priority to work though, your child has to be in that school the next year. So a big one is, let's say you have a senior. Okay, that senior's graduating and will not be there next year, so your incoming freshman does not have sibling priority. So even though they had a sibling there, they left. So sibling priority works if your sibling is still at the school for the next school year. So I hope that helps kind of clarify a little bit about our school system. There are lots of schools to choose from, and there are lots of different types of schools to choose from. No matter if you live in Cape Coral or Lehigh or the Fort Myers area, the best thing is to go and explore each school. Each school you're allowed to walk through. They do have periods of time, and usually it's December, January time. They do open houses, but if you're coming in later in the school year, you're welcome to call that school and see if you can make an appointment to do a walkthrough and see if that's the type of school that you're looking for that fits your child and your family. So they are open to some of those kind of things as well. So best of luck at picking your school and where you may want to buy your next home. Enjoy.